man. Your show's gonna be awesome, bro. Your show's gonna be awesome.
All right. Okay. Hello, everybody. Just making sure that everything is going. I appreciate you all for joining me tonight. Huh, cool. There's, sorry, I was checking out the Facebook part, and the Facebook shows that I actually have captions going on, so you can actually read what I'm saying. That is actually really cool. However, again, we are leaving Riverside.fm just because we've had a lot of issues with them. We've had issues with our guests not being able to connect. That's the reason why some of these shows that you see that where my guests aren't able to actually be a part of the show. And so I'm actually kind of happy to be leaving that behind. However, we will be using StreamYard coming up soon. And just checking it out, a lot of the features are a lot better. The editing tools are a lot better, as per my producer has let me know, as well as, we can stream to YouTube, we can stream to Facebook, and we can also stream to Instagram. And now that Meta is now, I think Meta owns TikTok now. And so I know that you can attach it to Facebook. We may be able to do lives on TikTok as well. So a lot of big things coming up for the show. That's what today's episode is about. It's about some of the news as well as some of the things that have come up that are changes that we are making. So the guests that we were supposed to have tonight, which I'm going to announce our upcoming guests for next week, is we have Wyatt Coates coming on, as well as we have sorry, we also have DJ Kane, formerly known through the band of, I'm sorry. It's been one of those days. Formerly known as by the Cumbia Kings. And so he was a lead singer for them for several years, and now he is actually solo and he's been making his own music. He's making a huge comeback and a big turn up. So we're excited to be having him. And oh, cool. So it also may be possible to go live on LinkedIn. So we may actually be making a LinkedIn. I did see X on there as well too. So formerly known as Twitter. So we may be going live on there as well, which is going to be totally cool. You are commenting as okay, cool. I'm just checking to make sure if there is anyways. So I am super excited about what the future's got going. I also have a surprise guest, and you will know him from the band Gypsyland. And so it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a great episode next one. Now the guest that we had before, I may be doing some live interviews with, Robbie Mitz. We're trying to work out a time in the schedule. I believe that we have it worked out. And maybe since we weren't able to, I don't trust Riverside. Let's put it that way. I don't trust Riverside, so I didn't want to invite guests on, but I also didn't want to leave the week blank as well either, because a goose egg is a goose egg. You don't want a goose egg. So that's why we are still live. However, I just want to talk about again the features that are coming up. I am talking to a gentleman about being my media manager for the Facebooks and the social medias. That's going to be coming up. Hopefully, we can come to an agreement. Is a good friend of mine. Is a DJ or was a DJ, and he may be returning back to music. That'll be awesome. And he might be one of my associate producers, I guess, if you will. He'll be in person. He has camera setups. He's very good on tech, and is able to make clips and pretty much all the stuff that I don't really have a whole lot of time for, but I wish I did. He's going to help out with that, as well as he's going to help out with bringing more sponsors to the show, so that way StreamYard is a lot more pricier than Riverside is, and I know that's what deters a lot of people from there. However, with the right funding and the right sponsorship, we can definitely take this to another level. I am talking to a couple of different radios. I have not moved anywhere forward with that because I'm waiting for my producer to be able to meet with me. But I'm looking to possibly have us also on the radio as a talk show as well, and And so, we take our recordings and we put them on there. So they would be pre-recorded shows. And so, I mean, a lot of exciting things. There's going to be Today Entertainers with Little Dog. It's going to eventually have its own Facebook page, its own X, LinkedIn, all of those. So that way you guys can reach out. You can watch on multiple platforms. I do have guests coming up. Oh, yeah. Ronnie Hummel.
This episode is brought to you by Honeybee Funds. Honeybee is a nonprofit organization set up to help house homeless people that fall through all the cracks of other help. Homelessness in America has skyrocketed since 2020, and it's senseless in the wealthiest country in America. Outside of natural disasters, Honeybee believes there is no reason for homelessness in America. Some people will fall through the cracks because they have no children, no elderly living in their household. Some homeless people are not recovering from drug addiction or recently released from jail, so they are not viewed as priority for housing. Honeybee Funds is set up to help homeless find a home, even if they have a large dog that they count as part of their family. Email charliepooch131@gmail.com if you wish to contribute to Honeybee Funds. Now we will return back to our broadcast.
Setting up with a live interview for her as well. These ones are probably going to have to be pushed back also a week too. And so I know that I got a little off track there. I have been speaking to Mr. Trevino, and I'm really hoping that we can also, get him on the show as well. Okay, cool. So some of the other ones that were incomplete or that we didn't really get to put together a full episode, I'm being told that will also be eventually an episode on its own. So that way we could piece them together, have something for you guys to listen to from those days as well. So now, again, going back, we want to go ahead and thank all of our sponsors. We do have Blackfoot Language Academy, which brings us the Blackfoot 101. And today I actually want to piece some things together. So before in an earlier episode, I told you guys hello, which is okay. And then I also told you the word for my name is, which is Nitaniko. And of course you see Little Dog. So Oki Nitaniko Emeteokoan. Hello, my name is Little Dog. And so I'm very proud of that. I've been starting to piece together sentences. I'm still learning word by word, and it's definitely something that I want to keep alive. As all of you guys know, and whoever is all watching, I want to be one of the reasons why my language survives. I don't want to be part of the problem of why the language dies off. I'm pretty passionate about this. I do want to keep it going. Now, our second sponsor, which is it's right here, you can see my Red Bones Financial shirt. I was actually doing a pitch interview earlier today with a teacher out of Mesquite, and I'm happy because we were able to help her out. Everybody has either 401k or 403b, which is the common education for what people should be doing for retirement. However, Ted Bennett actually was on 60 Minutes and came out of retirement and told everybody that the 401k is a scam. 2008, he came out of retirement, said that is a scam. It only benefits the financial institutions that back them. So, me being the person that I am, of course, I'm not really pro big government. I'm very pro people. And so, what I like to do is I like to teach people what the banks do. So, when you give your money to the bank, they take it and they put it in an insurance product. Okay. And that insurance product, they build interest off of it. And that's where you get your little tiny piece of the pie while they're actually seeing the majority of the gains. And they just keep getting richer while the rest of us suffer. So I teach people how to utilize the same programs that they are using to maximize their profits, but to do it individually based. That way, maybe one day, and a lot of times it's going to be dealing with more with generational wealth, okay? So one day, you'll be able to put some money aside and be able to be your own family bank. And so that's what I do on this side, the financial side. It's Red Bones Financial. I do have a Facebook for it. I do everything from life insurance, health insurance, Medicare, I can't really say it. I keep remembering that I have to stay compliant. So senior benefits, I help out with those as well. And, I like to teach people how to utilize IULs, how to utilize annuities, how to, navigate the health insurance mess, as well as try to find ways to make life a lot easier because life is difficult already. And if you're an independent contractor, such as myself, or teacher who has a pension or has a pension at your company, in one way or another, the government's trying to get a piece of your pie. And so you have taxes, which in the future we don't know what they're going to be. And that's a point that I really drive hard because, taxes can go down, they can go up, but for the most part, the trend is up. Inflation, it grows as well. I mean, it averages 4 to 5% every year. Here lately, it's been a lot higher. Now, you're going to need a strategy that outplays inflation. Okay. And, you're going to want to compound the interest. So, those are all things that I teach people on that side. Now, I may start a podcast on that and have a couple other financial strategists or, people who do taxes, stuff like that. I may be interested in doing that later on. But for right now, I do it that way. I'm trying to make a deal with Texas Native Health so that way I can actually host classes over there and presentations. So these are all different things that I have in the works. I have all sorts of hands in the fire, and on top of that, excuse me, I'm going to be actually in several different movies this year. I have some movies, some TV shows. I've been helping to write some TV shows, been helping to write a TV show that's turned into a movie. And so I'm actually pretty excited about that. It's shaping up to be a very busy year. At this moment, I'm taking some time which I'm not turning down acting jobs. I just haven't really fully been applying because I'm trying to get all my ducks in a row. I want everything to be set so that way whenever I go and, do what I need to do, go, act and everything, which I love acting. I absolutely love it. It's been an amazing journey so far, and I do appreciate everybody who's helped out with giving me opportunities and cast me, and so I'm very happy with all of that. But on the other side too, we still need to make a living because acting does take money, and so it's just like owning a business. It takes money to make money. Okay, you have headshots that you got to get. You got to put your demo reel together. You got to pay to get out to some of these jobs. I've covered my own hotel costs and travel expenses to go to San Antonio to be in a couple of films that have that I get lines in. And so it takes money. And so you do need to financially sustain yourself. That is why I'm happy to be self-employed. I'm happy for this podcast. I'm happy for my crowd. I'm happy for everything that's doing this because it is still helping to support me in my acting career. And this podcast too, I really enjoy helping people. That's the reason why we made it. But anyways, one of the ones that I went down there for was Legend of the Donkey Lady, and that one came out in DVD already, and now it is on YouTube. So if you go to Marcus Davila's page on YouTube, you can also look up The Legend of the Donkey Lady. It should be, I believe it's on the Lions Act Productions page actually. And so if you look up The Legend of the Donkey Lady, you'll see Marcus Davila's Legend of the Donkey Lady. I have a spot right at the beginning of it. It's a half hour and it's actually pretty entertaining. It was put together pretty well. So, you know, I thought I was gonna come off super cheesy or anything, but I was actually surprised to, see how it turned out. And it turned out really good. So I'm very happy with it. That's awesome. It's still early into my acting career and I only look to get better. So I'm very happy with all of that. I'm very happy to have been included in the project. They are looking to make it into a full feature, and it is actually in uh, film festivals. Sorry, it's in the film festivals currently. So please go support it. Support the film. It's going to be awesome. So there are a lot more coming out. Lion's Eye Productions was also put me in other projects. So another project coming up is The American Coyote. Has not been released yet, however, is on the docks to be released. Okay. Now, with all of that really being said, some of the other guests that we have coming up is I have Adam Rocha on the docket as well too. He's on the list of upcoming guests, and I'm actually kind of excited for him because he's going to give us some insights on the film festivals because that's where he is from. He's from the film festivals down in San Antonio. And I'm looking to have Lisa Kate on, who is from the UK. She's an actress, she's a business owner, she's also a talent agent, and you'll find her uh on Facebook. She has her own page on Facebook. And let me see if I can get that for you guys real quick. Um oh, hey Steven. Thanks for liking my stuff, man. I'm going to my homepage.
This episode is brought to you by Honeybee Funds. Honeybee is a nonprofit organization set up to help house homeless people that fall through all the cracks of other help. Homelessness in America has skyrocketed since 2020, and it's senseless in the wealthiest country in America. Outside of natural disasters, Honeybee believes there is no reason for homelessness in America. Some people will fall through the cracks because they have no children, no elderly living in their household. Some homeless people are not recovering from drug addiction or recently released from jail, so they are not viewed as priority for housing. Honeybee Funds is set up to help homeless find a home, even if they have large dog that they count as part of their family. Email charliepooch131@gmail.com if you wish to contribute to Honeybee Funds. Now we will return back to our broadcast.
Yeah. Anyway, so Lisa Kate. If you look for her on Facebook, you'll be able to find her group. I apologize. My computer is super old. And big shout out to Jennifer and Greg Duffer. I really appreciate you guys for checking out my machine and confirming that it is what I thought it was all along, which is it's just too darn old. I need to upgrade the RAM. It's good for Windows 8 and Windows 9 is what they told me. However, Windows 10 and Windows 11 or anything beyond, it's not going to support. So I am working on upgrading that and being able to help you guys have a better, enjoyable future shows. Okay. And now that everybody else is tend to be watching, I also want to go into my my final sponsor, which is peaceoflifeshop.com. Okay. So here's this right here. I don't know if you guys can see it very well. Okay. Peace, like peace of life shop.com. All right. And this is something that's completely 100% legal in Texas. And here is the specs on it. I don't know if, there we go. It might be too bright, but yeah, it's 0.3% THC. So it is within legal limits in Texas. This is hemp. Okay. This is a hemp plant. So what makes this a lot different and makes the legality of it less questionable is this right here. You see the QR code? If you were to scan this QR code, or even if the police were to scan this QR code, what will pop up is a picture of the product that's inside, as well as the specs for the lab results and the lab that it came from. And all of that pops up. And because it is actually within legal limits, this right here, if they field test it, of course, it's going to test positive. However, this is not able to be field tested due to this right here. It actually makes it more illegal because it has all the information on there and it has to be lab tested because it is hemp. Okay. And so, I mean, thank you guys for sponsoring me. I really appreciate it. And that's Peace of Life. If you want to go ahead and support them, peaceoflifeshop.com and use the code Jesse15, JESSE15. All right. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and move forward now. I'm done with all of my sponsors. Again, I really appreciate it. Might do a product review one day. However, I want you guys to see this. They actually all come kind of hard to see, but they come sealed. This is sealed. So awesome. You've been seeing it in my displays more and more as the show goes on. I am in my digital studio today because I did not go and set up my full studio because I didn't have any in-person interviews today. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and move on. Uh, Big news today. Not today, but big news in the other days. That's been awesome. Leonard Peltier has actually been given clemency by President Biden, or former President Biden. And that is big news. He's been in prison for a long time. He was the leader of the American Indian movement. And back in the 60s, around that area, time era, they were very proactive group. Uh, they stormed the White House. They stormed Capitol Hill. Sorry, they made their last stand on Wounded Knee, which would be actually the second battle held on Wounded Knee. They did a standoff with the U.S. Marines for, I believe, it's 10 or 15 days, and he was falsely accused of shooting FBI agents, but he was made as an example. That's what they were saying, and then he was supposed to be released around. I believe it was Bush or Obama era, but that's whenever. Oh no, it was Bush because it was the Patriot Act that kept him in prison, and so there are a lot of documentaries. I encourage you guys to go check it out, find out about him. Watch what happened at Wounded Knee. Well, there was a massacre which happened way early on. Back whenever the reservations were first being started, and then there I don't before then. Sorry, uh, that's also has its own book out as well too called "Bury My Heart at Wounded Knee," which was later adapted into a movie starring Adam Beach, who eventually I'd like to have him on the show. He's a really cool guy. Second was the standoff with the U.S. government in the '60s and American Indian movement. So definitely check them out. It's something that you're gonna be interested in. The guards used to abuse him in prison, and he'd be shown when people would go visit him, he'd be beaten up, he'd be malnutrition, and so it's definitely good to see him finally released, even though it is way later in life. And like I said, he was meant to be an example of to Native Americans of what happens if you stand up to the U.S. government. And as we know, they ignore every time that we try to protest anyways now because I mean look at Standing Rock. Everybody went out there, they protested, and still ended up, they still ended up building it and ignored them, stuck on dog cages, stuff like that. So, but anyways, I've already said my piece on that. I'm not going to go back into it. Maybe one day. But so other news that we have going on is that. Oh, sorry, I was just checking on seeing if there was any comments. And guys, at any moment, if you guys have any questions for me, please ask them in the chat. I'll be more than happy to announce them. So, what was I going with all this? I'm sorry. I know that I was giving updates. I was thinking about sponsors. And like I said, I wanted to put this show together to go ahead and yeah, that is very true. US government is not awesome with justice, so we all know that. Hopefully things change. We'll definitely see, because on my end I'm not too trusting of the government, okay? And here's the reason why. We got the Patriot Act. We had basically another one that was known or nicknamed Patriot Act 2.0. That was during the Blues takeover. I'm not going to mention names, but that's whenever Blue was in charge. The Patriot Act happened whenever Red was in charge. Uh, then Blue came back in, and there were a lot of ordinances passed that, in case of war, disease, famine, different stuff like that, that we can't use the roads, We can't use our cars. We don't own our homes. And I highly encourage you to look those up because always do your own research. Don't just take anybody for their word, do your own research. But those are stuff that are actually currently in the United States. And then Red took over, knew these were there, did nothing about it. And then Blue took over. Of course, they're not going to change it because it was the Blues stuff that was put in. And now Red is back. And we'll see how it turns out. Because again, I am very pro people that, and little government. So we'll see how everything turns out. There are some things that I'm excited about, some things I'm not so excited about. But we'll definitely see because I don't believe that I should be pushing uh, my beliefs on other people. Come up with your own beliefs. Do what believe. Do your own research. Believe your research. There we go. All right. So moving on. Recently, I had the pleasure of doing an audition, an in-person audition for Iron Films, and my buddy Doobie B. He's making a movie. He had a casting call recently. I answered the casting call, went up there, did an in-person audition. It was pretty cool. It was a little introduction as well as uh not really some monologues, but what it was an improv audition. So he had two of the actors that are already have their roles in there and stand on two different areas, and you stood on your mark. And the first one, started spitting some stuff out, knew what they were going to say, see what you came up with on your own. And then next thing you know, the second person did their bit and they recorded your responses. Excuse me. It was actually really, really cool. I enjoyed it. There's some jokes sprinkled in down there, but I had to maintain character. But right after it was over, I started laughing. It was great. And I'm excited to announce that there will be also another casting call for the same director coming up. And that was going to be in March. But give them a follow. It is Dallas Film Hub, DALLAS, Film FILM, Hub HUB. Okay. And IRM Films. So IRM Films. Now, I think films either has S or a Z at the end. But the other person that you should follow is Doobie B, DUUBY, B as in the bumblebee, so BEE. Okay? Give them follows, keep an eye up for the auditions, and I'll be sharing them on my page as well. I'll not only be sharing them on my individual Facebook, excuse me. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. I hope that I covered the mic well enough for that. I'll be sharing them to the Today's Entertainers webpage on Facebook, as well as my personal Facebook page as well. Okay, so keep an eye out for that and apply. That's all you got to do. Apply. That's all I've been doing. That's all I've ever really done, and I've been in a lot of projects since then. Whenever I apply, I put my best foot forward, and I, network myself. I sell myself. And that's what you got to do. And that's the thing in sales, the sales and that helped out with the networking and doing this is I'm not selling a product. I'm not selling something else. I'm selling me, I'm selling myself as an actor, which is how you got to do it yourself. You got to network, you got to market. You are your own marketing manager. So you got to put your name out there. You got to put your face out there. You got to put yourself out there as much as you can in order to do it. You may apply to 100 casting calls, but you get auditioned for one, or maybe you get auditioned for 5 or 10 and only 1 or 2 reply. It's a numbers game, just like sales is. It's a numbers game. The more numbers you got out there, the higher your chances, all right? So network, there's another audition coming up. It's called The Crimson. And the page that you're going to want to follow for that is Ronnie Hummel Productions. That's going to be out. That's also on Facebook. So Ronnie, RONI, Hummel, HUMMEL Productions. All right. If you don't know how to spell productions, then I'm sorry. Anyways, and the project is The Crimson. I saw a recent casting call for Jesus 1 and Jesus 2. You can definitely check into that. I don't know if they're still casting for it. However, there are more casting calls coming up for it soon. So keep an eye on her page, give her a like, give her a follow, and turn on your notifications so that way you can follow them, okay? The other one that I want to talk about is there are a lot of productions coming down to Texas. And the page that you're going to want to follow in that case is Legacy Casting. Legacy Casting. And you're going to want to go to their website, which is mycastingfile.com. All right, mycastingfile.com. It is free to make a profile. You can put up to 2 photos on there. I believe on the free account, you can do a quick bio, I believe. Put in your size information. It's going to ask you regions that you want to put the castings for. If you want all regions all around the states and see all the casting calls, of course, check them all off. If you're wanting to stay just local to Texas or even New Orleans, go ahead and I just got informed there's no quick buy on the free version. However, you can apply for casting calls, which is cool because on Backstage, Actors Access, and casting networks, you got to pay for all of those in order to apply for any kind of casting jobs. However, on that one, it is completely free. And then another cost that you're going to run into is IMDb. There have been a few times where people have hit me up on IMDb. And that did cost me. I paid for the annual cost. It was a lot cheaper paying annually than it was to pay monthly. However, it is a cost that you got to keep paying. And if you're a SAG, member, SAG, if you're a SAG member, you actually get a discount. So definitely things to look into. Keep your information updated. And so now the other news that I have coming up, and I do want to bring this one up, is One Bomb. So it's one, but spelled out ONE Bomb, BOMB. It's a project that I have coming up that has a really awesome team that's attached to it. They are almost completed writing the script and trying to work on arrangements of when we're going to start filming, but we do need help with the budget. So if you go to Damien's page, which is DAMIEN, and hold on a second, let me get his last name for you guys okay. And I don't want to say this wrong, but I'm going to try to say it. Lansley. So DAMIEN LANCELEY. Damien Lansley. Damien. Anyways, he was supposed to be a guest on here not so long ago, and things happened. He wasn't able to be a guest. I'm trying to get him back on the show again so that way we can get him back on the docket, get him over here, because he is also a UK-based actor, director, and writer. And we are looking for funding for the film. We are looking for sponsors as well, so that way, we can get this project done. It's actually a really cool project, but I would definitely go to his page, look into the film, give him a follow, give him a like, help support anything that you can help out with. It also helps out as well. Now, okay. So I did have a request to explain what SAG is. So there's different unions, and the biggest union that is out there that people might recognize, and even some people who don't, SAG is SAG, Screen Actors Guild, and that is the Actors Guild. So there's different ones, like there's a Writers Guild as well, but Screen Actors Guild was they supported whenever the writers went on strike, and that was also a union too. And so Screen Actors Guild is the union that actors join into, and they help out with protecting their actors, making sure their actors get paid. There is a fee to join in with them, and whenever you do SAG, the common misconception that I found out through our other episode, Chris Siegler, is that you can only work on SAG productions. He informed me that through his conversation with the office and the people that he was talking to is that you can actually do non-union. It's just you're not going to have the same protection that you will have if you do SAG productions, SAG productions. And now, like stuff like Marvel movies, stuff on Disney, those are all SAG productions. Taylor Sheridan's productions, those are SAG productions that hire non-union workers, such as background workers. A lot of times, background is not SAG. Now, I did find out talking to them that if you work 3 days on one SAG production, 3 times, 3 different shows. So it can't be the same show. It can't be 9 days on one show. 3 days on 3 different shows. So let's say, for example, 3 days on Lawman Bass Reeves, 3 days on Walker, 3 days on 1923. Then you're SAG eligible. So kind of cool, but definitely something that's going to verify you, something that does cost money again. So again, you're going to want to make sure that you save up, that you have some work going for you, that, because it's like this. And I can tell you, it's like a wave. Some days, some months, some weeks, you're going to be super busy. Others, you're not going to be busy at all. And from my experience, during the wintertime, it does slow down. Towards the end of the year, it slows down quite a bit. I did get a commercial gig in December, which was more than what I got last year. I think last year I did Dr. Phil commercial. Oh no, that was in November. Last year, I don't think I really got anything in December. However, it slows down for everybody. Now, there are some projects that are still going, but not every one of them. And so you're going to want to prepare for that. Save up some money, save up a nest egg, have an emergency fund. Sorry, that's this again. Setting up emergency funds because emergencies are going to happen. I'm sorry. I can't help it. I just kind of see how it corresponds in every single aspect of different businesses that, everything that I talk about with a lot of my clients is the same stuff that applies to me as well. And, it does make me feel good because it's definitely stuff that I'm doing myself. I'm not just telling everybody else, hey, you should do this without doing it myself. I'm implementing it myself. I'm using myself as an example. So, get your name out there, audition, spread your screenshots, your headshots all over the place. I mean, spam it, uh, I post to my Facebook. Now, here's another thing actually, and this is actually a really good point. Your Facebook, your social media, especially if you're on Facebook and you're sending out to a bunch of casting calls through all the casting call groups on Facebook, which is the other type that I use, is a bunch of local Facebook groups that are here in Texas. I have some in a few other states that I have family in, but mostly here in Texas, is that, I share my page. I post from my account. So your Facebook account, your social media is like a business card. Okay? Stay positive. Stay uplifting. Help each other out, Don't always be tearing each other down, because even us as actors and being actors that in a certain region, you're going to run into the same actors over and over and over again. You're going to run into the same PAs over and over again. You're going to run into the same directors. The last thing you want to do is burn bridges, because what's going to happen is you're going to get blacklisted, or you're going to get put on a DNC list, which is do not contact, because you're starting too much drama. You're doing other people's jobs that, you shouldn't be doing. And so, and there is a list, there is a real list that's out there of a bunch of actors that are on a DNC. Now, will you know that you're on it? Not unless you know somebody who can see that list and you're really good with them. But There is a list out there. Okay. So make sure that you don't do anything to get put on that list. One of the, oh, here's a question. The strangest place I've received a call from. Oh, glad you asked. So I'm not sure who's out there, but as goes on Craigslist, I have actually found a casting call that I was a little bit wary about, but it turned out it was legit. It was on Craigslist under the talent side. And believe it or not, it was a Windstar commercial. It paid pretty well, but it was a Windstar commercial, and I answered it, and they didn't exactly pick me; they picked Amy, but I showed up there anyways, and they still used me. I got paid with everybody else, and then whenever they were looking to recast for future commercials, they did reach out to me, and I was able to get hold of them. So yeah, that's the strangest place was Craigslist. uh, do I have any other questions or anything? Nope. Okay. No. All right. That was just that was through Messenger that I received that one. So thank you for the question. Please don't hesitate to put questions onto the comments. And so another place that I've gotten some work from is if you go to the Capernaum website. Okay. Now, Capernaum is going to be more. Capernaum Studios is going to be more your inspirational stuff, stuff that has to do more with religion type stuff, like the Crimson, the Apostle Paul. Recently, they did Washington's Armor, and there's another concept coming out in that series, so keep an eye out for that as well too. I'm not sure if we're allowed to say anything about it yet. Or, well, yeah, we are. It's Washington's Armor 2, Bulletproof. So keep an eye out for that. You'll see a lot of familiar faces there as well. uh, but Washington's Armor is on Amazon Prime, so Amazon Movies. So let me see. I don't really think I have any other news that are coming up other than the new pages that are coming. Some casting places to find casting calls. I've gone over a lot of the guests coming up, including Ronnie Hummel. Let me see. The announcements was also that Leonard Petir is coming out. I'm very excited about that. If you cannot tell, I watch it religiously. Oh, cool. I appreciate the support. So, with that being said, I really do appreciate you guys coming on. If you guys have no other questions with me, I'm going to wait a few minutes or about a minute or so, see if any other questions pop up, okay? I do want to make sure that I don't skip over anybody else's, but thank you guys. Eventually what I plan on doing is I'm talking to a place about a studio. So that way I can set up and be able to have guests come in, on a regular basis, a steady place that I can have guests. They come in. I eventually would like to run music at the very end of it. So that way, if we have a couple of guests, have music and talent, so that way at the very end, they can help out with closing the show. And so, with that said, I really appreciate every one of you guys. Thank you for joining us on today's Entertainers with Little Dog. I am Little Dog, your host. Keep an eye out for next week, as we do have some amazing guests coming in, okay? So the one that is coming in, by the way, it's gonna be next episode is gonna be amazing. Again, the very next episode is Wyatt Coates, Lucien Campos of Gypsyland, and DJ Kane formerly of the Cumbia Kings. So please check it out. Ask them questions. We're going to be able to do remote on the interviews again, because we are going to have a better software platform that we're going to be using. And again, follow every one of our guests. Advertising will begin tomorrow. Okay. And the week after that is going to be Robbie Mitz as well as Ronnie Hummel. The and I may add in Adam Rocha to that one episode. So I'm gonna talk to him. I'm gonna let you guys know for sure. I do have a couple of Emmy award winning stars, as well as big shout out to Chris Siegler. Congratulations on your role. He's got a video coming up based on the life of Randy Savage. Absolutely perfect, my friend. You are going to do an amazing job, and I really appreciate you coming from the show and being a huge supporter of the show, as well as passing the episodes around, getting us a little bit more known with a lot more people. And still to date, your episode is still the biggest episode that we've done so far. And, these are all just milestones that we keep passing, keep going up. But I really appreciate you guys. And if you go to IMDb, a lot of these episodes are going to be loaded up onto IMDb as well as all of the people involved. So if you have an IMDb account, please send it to me so that way, and you've been a guest, please send it to me so that way I can upload it. Now, if you want to contact us here at the show, you can go ahead and contact my WhatsApp, which is 817-673-2247 on WhatsApp Business. So WhatsApp 817-673-2247. My email to contact me on the show for the show or to be a guest is today's.entertainers.littledog@gmail.com. Again, that's today's.entertainers.littledog@gmail.com. So from us here at Today's Entertainers with Little Dog and Bellringer Film Productions, we thank you for joining us today.
This episode is brought to you by Honeybee Funds. Honeybee is a nonprofit organization set up to help house homeless people that fall through all the cracks of other help. Homelessness in America has skyrocketed since 2020, and it's senseless in the wealthiest country in America. Outside of natural disasters, Honeybee believes there is no reason for homelessness in America. Some people will fall through the cracks because they have no children, no elderly living in their household. Some homeless people are not recovering from drug addiction or recently released from jail, so they are not viewed as priority for housing. Honeybee Funds is set up to help homeless find a home, even if they have large dog that they count as part of their family. Email charliepooch131@gmail.com if you wish to contribute to Honeybee Funds. Now we will return back to our